What is the face you do when your prodigy is losing? So welcome to episode number 4 of the GBN podcast. So last week we had the French Open, so let's talk about it. Starting with men's singles. So as a surprise, the winner of the tournament was Chen Long. He has now won the French Open back-to-back twice, and he won 21-19, 21-12 versus Jonathan Christie. The reason it was surprising is the fact that Kento Momota did not win. Kento Momota lost versus Anthony Ginting, and also worth referencing was Viktor Axelsen's loss versus Jonathan Christie. Viktor Axelsen during the game struggled with some cramps, and Kento Momota referenced in his post-game interview that fatigue was an issue. And this was a common theme on lots of the interviews that were happening. They were complaining, not complaining, well, some of them were complaining, saying that 2 tournaments in a row at this level is just too tiring and it wasn't enough for them to rest. Kento Momota referenced this, and some other mixed double, I can't remember the name, also referenced this. So this raises the question that I would like to ask. Do you think that it's good that there's so many World Tour tournaments back to back? Or should there be at least 1 week between each of the tournaments? Comment below and let us know. But at the end, Chen Long takes the victory, and it's all to his merit. He played as many games as didn't play as much games as the others, but he still won under the same conditions. So well done to Chen Long. Moving on to women's singles. In women's singles, the winner was the Queen Slayer herself, An Se-young, defeating Carolina Marin by 16-21, 21-18, 21-5. You can't take away from Carolina Marin the fact that she actually had a very difficult tournament. She played against Ratchanok Internet, which is number 1 or number 2 currently in the World Tour. Then she beat her. Then she played against Tai Tzu Ying. She beat Tai Tzu Ying in 2 sets, 21-16, 21-9. But on the other games, she all had kind of 3 sets. While An Se-young had easier games. She had 2 sets on all games and 1 game where her adversary retired. But still, she was able to reach the final and beat the Olympian at 17 years old, winning the French Open. So that's quite amazing. She was going to play in the Macau Open, but given the success that she's had in the Denmark Open and the French Open, they've decided to skip. So congratulations to this prodigy 17-year-old. Moving on to men's doubles. In men's doubles, the winners were Marcus Gideon and Kevin Sukumuljo. They beat the Indian pair 21-18, 21-16, winning another Open, given that they won the Denmark Open. The Indian pair, actually, what was interesting is they are in the front page of Reddit's subreddit videos with one incredible rally that's there. And another thing that I found interesting about the video is a lot of people know about badminton. I don't think we communicate enough about badminton, but in the comment section of that highlight video, a lot of people were saying like they played badminton before or they play badminton and talking wonders about the sport. I would like to see all these people being more participate more in the community. So the Indonesian pair winning the French Open, and we'll move on to women's doubles. So in the women's doubles, just like the Denmark Open, we have a Korean victory, but this time by Lee Si and Xing Chan by 16-21, 21-19, and 21-12. Let's move on now to mixed doubles. So in mixed doubles, we have a repetition of the Denmark Open, with the winners being Pravin Jordan and Malati Octavianti. Given their success in the Denmark Open and the French Open, they will not participate in the Macau Open to get a rest, I guess, which they deserve. So that is all for the French Open. Let's move on to Instagram. So Instagram has not been giving a lot of content to actually talk about it. Most players have been sharing about their personal life and food. So I thought we could talk about the BWF World Tour. So the BWF World Tour is like way on its way, even though this podcast started nearly at the Chinese Open, so around 4 tournaments ago. There have already been 21 tournaments to the day. with 27 being the last one. So that means that we have 6 tournaments left, counting these lower ones with the 300s, and that not all players begin, that not all players participate in. So I was thinking instead of talking about Instagram, we could look at the rankings and figure out who are the top 8 that are currently viewed to reach the final in each of the categories. So let's start with men's singles. In first place we have Kento Momota, but in 8th place, on the limit of dropping off and not participating in the final, is Wang Tzu Wei. And at 9th place with the possibility to move into the finals is Li Jia, needing around 3,000 points. In the middle we have, in 2nd place we have Jonathan Christie. 3rd place the independent player Zhao Tianqian. 4th place Chen Long, he went up 2 places with these results. And then Viktor Axelsen, Anthony Ginting and Anders Antonsen. Pretty stable. 10th place Lin Dan. And then with the risk of pumping up in 6 tournaments, don't really see any name. So let's move on to women's singles. In women's singles we have in first place Ratchanok Intanon, and then in 8th place we have Sang Ji-hyun on the risk of dropping, and in 9th place on the risk of going in we have Sayaka Takahashi. Now interesting is where Carolina Marin is. Carolina Marin has 6 tournaments to go to be able to make it. She's not participating in the Macau Open. Is she actually still trying to reach the finals? I'm not sure actually. She was injured before, so she couldn't play. And now that she's back, I would think that every point counts, but maybe she's organizing so that she can max out her points. Anyway, she's way behind. She's in last place. Not in last place, there are more, but she's in 25th place, barely fitting in the page. And then in 14th, we have the Queen Slayer An Se-young. She was also going to participate in Macau Open, but she's not going to participate. So it seems like we can still have an interesting race for this 8th place in women's singles. We'll keep an eye on it. Moving on to men's doubles. First place, the winners of the French Open, the Danish Open, Marcus Gideon and Kevin Sukumuljo. Then in 8th place, on the risk of dropping or not, Go Shem and Tan Kyung, with the risk of pumping up, Lu Yao and Yang Po Han. The rest seem pretty stable. 3rd place Takashi Kumura and Sonoda. The rest seem pretty normal. Let's see. We'll keep now more an eye on these podcasts of the rankings to see how it fluctuates, and so we can comment a bit more. Women's doubles, I need to spend a bit more time following. I don't really follow. But in 8th place we have Du Ye and Li Hui. And then in 1st place we have Yuki Fukushima and Sayaka Hirota. And then 9th place with the possibility to jump in is Lee So-hee and Shin Seong-chan. So with the risk of actually moving in is the winners of the French Open, Lee So-hee and Shin Seong-chan, with around 4,000 points difference. So if they continue to compete and win like they did in the French Open, they can actually distort the current rating and make it to the final, which is very interesting. In mixed doubles, in 8th place we have Seo Jai and Chai Yu Jung, and then in 1st place Zheng Wei and Huang Ya-kyung. I also don't follow mixed doubles as much. We'll start keeping an eye on these rankings so we can comment more on what's happening, even if this is more of a training for the year of 2020. That is all from the World Tour. Let's talk about YouTube. On YouTube, we have a video by Viktor Axelsen about the back twisting defense shot. Interesting, but not useful for me. It's nice to see like professional players make these videos, because you see a bit more detail and close-ups of things that they do, which makes, even though it's a technique that I'm not interested in, how he does everything is very interesting. The only thing that I found weird was he has a professional team to make these videos, I guess, and the sound is offbeat in the beginning. Like a small mistake, but a mistake nonetheless. Then I have a whole spamming of the Badminton Europe interviews. which congratulations to Badminton Europe. I think these interviews are great, these post-match interviews. I think one of the issues that starts to happen is that he speaks in English and it's necessary to have a translator, so there's a disconnect between the player and the interviewer. I think for players that don't speak English, they should have an interviewer in their native tongue and just add the subtitles underneath. So you don't have a Chen Long case that the translator's translating, Chen Long just leaves the screen, and it was just awkward and weird. Anyway, great idea to do these post-game interviews. Then we have from Badminton Family Smash Harder in Badminton. I did not have time to watch this, so I will not comment on it. I'll probably comment next week. We have Burst, how to serve like a world-class player. I support Camilo Burst because I believe in people making different content, but he's kind of falling into this Badminton Becky state, which is, I don't have anything to really say. It was very superficial discussion about how to serve like world class. Badminton Swift made a video about serves, and I think it went more into detail and it was much more interesting. So that's the problem. If it continues to appear videos that I can't comment about, then it's not worth referencing here. But I hope that he continues to make great videos, and even if I don't mention all the videos here, for sure in my personal channel, if something pops up really interesting, I'll come and talk about it here. Then, besides Camilo Burst, we have a video from Tobias Wadenka about the scissor jump footwork. Great video, check it out. This is part of his series about movement. I think it's very extensible, very good for beginners. It always gives me something to think about and work on in my training session. And then from Poison Cobra, he did a worth it kind of video. For those that don't know, there's this BuzzFeed series where they go like do haircuts or tattoos, and they go to 3 places with 3 very different price points. Poison Cobra does that with rackets. So he gets a $5 racket, a £200 racket, and then they analyze it. It's interesting. I think it's very creative how they do things. It's entertaining until a sense. Some things are not entertaining, it's a bit stupid, but other things it was very entertaining. I thought it was pretty good. The sequence of the video is not very clear to me, because in the beginning it feels like it's gonna be a review only about the £5 racket, and then out of nowhere comes the medium racket and then the pro racket. But I would like a more detailed version of that video. It would be cooler, in my opinion. So that is all for YouTube this week. Let's move on to GBN news. So in GBN, one of the Tile Group reviews is already done. It's in the oven now to be edited and should be out this week. So press the subscribe button. I'm gonna start spending more time preparing information about the World Tour and the points. I've accepted that this run now until the end of the year is basically for me to tune these videos and get used to speaking to the camera. And also organizing my flow, organizing my understanding of players and videos to review. That is the goal for now. Besides that, I really don't have anything to add. I don't know if we're going to talk about the Macau Open, but let's see. So next week we'll have the Tile Group video out, and we'll probably talk about something, maybe the Macau Open. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.